In this video, I'm gonna be comparing these four shonen characters: Naruto, Natsu, Goku, and Luffy, and they will be competing for the title of Dumbest of All Shonen. And I would have added Ichigo to this list, but in my opinion, he isn't really all that dumb compared to these other four characters, so I just decided to leave him out of this one. So to get on with the video, I'll be going over with these characters' flaws, basically what's in their personality that makes them a dumb character, their mistakes, basically anything that they've done throughout their series that proves their ignorance, and logic, which is basically how they think, their thought process. And starting out with Goku. And Goku's first flaw is that he's very naive, in the sense that he believes that nothing bad will happen to his planet, and if it does, he'll just defeat it. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but for him to have this kind of mentality is pretty dumb. And even Vegeta calls him out on it plenty of times throughout the series. The second flaw of Goku and basically everybody else in the Dragon Ball Z universe is that they're very dependent on the Dragon Balls to fix almost every other problem. So if anything were to happen, they would just use Axe Shenron and just just fix every fucking thing. And I just feel like this is a dumb flaw to have, because I feel like Goku isn't as confident enough in his own power to protect and save everybody in his whole planet, so they rely on the Dragon Balls a lot. But if Goku is strong enough to defeat his opponent, then they wouldn't really need the Dragon Balls, period. The third and final flaw of Goku is that he's too merciful towards his opponents. He hardly kills anyone, and he actually offers them a second chance at life if they change their ways. Goku was a lot less lenient as a child when he wiped out the entire Red Ribbon army. He basically got this flaw as he grew up. On to Goku's mistakes. Goku's first mistake is that he fights all the opponents at their full strength. It means he literally falls back and let his opponents power up to full power before he defeats them, which is a Saiyan thing, but it's still one of the dumbest things you could ever do. He doesn't take any type of shortcuts, and he doesn't do any type of sneaky ways. He won't fight any of his opponents off guard, so it's very, very frustrating to watch Goku and Vegeta do stuff like this. On to mistake number 2, Goku passes the torch in the wrong ways. There have been numerous of times when Goku doesn't finish off an opponent, even though he has the power to do so, just so someone else can be the hero. The third mistake that Goku made is that he literally bet his whole universe for a good fight. We all know that if the tournament power didn't occur, then the universes would have been wiped out anyways. But for Goku to entice his plan to have the tournament instead is a pretty dumb move. There could have been other ways to save his universe that wasn't considered, and thus making all the other universes hate Goku for the majority of the tournament. Now on to Goku's logic. He wants to believe that every villain can be good, and this stems from one of his flaws of being too merciful. He wants to believe that everyone can change, so he sometimes offers them redemption. He also likes fighting a fair and square battle. This is the only way Goku prefers to fight, and he doesn't choose to use any sneaky attacks or any type of surprise attacks or catch the opponent off guard, because he takes his martial arts very seriously. Now on to Naruto. His flaws is that he's really trusting. He'll trust anybody that basically shows any interest in him. That leaves him open to easy attacks and leaking info. He also wants to prove himself. He's always wanted to show how great of a ninja he is by jumping into unknown situations with little to no intel and endangering his whole team. In my opinion, Naruto doesn't make that many mistakes. I've only counted 2 mistakes, one in a serious manner and one in a more childish manner, in which he's made mistakes. The more serious one is when he steals the Hidden Leaf Scroll from the village, because he was tricked by Mitsuki to do so. His other one that's not so serious is that he taught Konohamaru the sexy harem jutsu. Who needs to teach an 8-year-old the sexy harem jutsu? That's just not the smartest thing ever to do, Naruto. Next is Naruto's logic, and his thought process when going up against an enemy is that nobody knows more pain than he does. meaning that he will relate to his enemies and try to show them a different way of living with that pain. Like, seriously, anybody that has went against Naruto and is still alive, their whole life just took a whole 180. Next, Naruto's thoughts lies more along the line of what would a Hokage do? This saying is what drives him to make the right decisions and never ever give up on his dream of being Hokage. And that also friendship is everything. We all know that friendship mainly drives this whole entire show, so there's really no need to get that deep into that one. We already know what happens. Now on to Natsu's. Natsu's flaws is that he'll mainly pick a fight with anything. Not anyone, but anything. And it's highly, like, it just doesn't make sense in my head. He'll fight in any condition, whether he just got beat up or he's on the verge of death. He'll still try and get up and fight you no matter what. And all this in terms, it just wraps around my head that he lacks the common sense of basically anything. He can't really tell you much, but he'll just go with the flow and do whatever he feels like is right at the time. So next on to Natsu's mistakes. To be honest, I didn't even really finish Fairy Tail like that, but from what I've seen, mostly halfway up to the 7-year time gap, Natsu doesn't really make that many big mistakes that jeopardizes the whole entire like show or whatever. Like, he doesn't really do anything that big on that scale, like compared to Goku or like somebody else. So honestly, I'd say some of the biggest mistakes just come from the lack of common sense. I mean, he was raised by a dragon and all the other stuff, so you can't really expect him to have that much brain processing up there, that many brain cells or whatever. So he doesn't really make that mistakes, in my opinion. Natsu's logic and way of processing is that he'll never give up like any other shonen character. No matter what happens, he'll die fighting, he'll die throwing a punch type shit. And that he'll take on anybody, even if they're stronger than him. Like, he'll know that they're stronger than him, and he'll still try to fight them, even though he like basically knows that he'll lose on the inside. But he will still try and fight until his last breath, protecting his friends. Last but not least, we have the man himself, the one that everybody loves, the person I don't understand, the show I would never watch, Luffy. Huge disclaimer here is that I've never seen no more than like 2 episodes of One Piece, so I hardly know anything about the One Piece world or Luffy. I got all of this information from you guys off the internet, from Twitter, from doing research, from Anime Mino, from the biggest One Piece fans that I know, and some other people that I just met that helped me make this list for Luffy. Luffy's flaw number 1 is that he lacks knowledge of the world around him, meaning that without his crewmates, he wouldn't have much of a chance at surviving in the world that he lives in. Flaw number 2 is that he's too kind-hearted, kind of like Naruto and Goku, that he'll help out anybody in a hard time, even if they've harmed innocent people. So I feel like he's more like a heart-changing type of shonen character, where they just try and talk it out or figure out the reasons why they're doing this and just try and help them change their lives rather than just killing them. Luffy, kind of like Natsu, doesn't really make that many big mistakes throughout his show that can really jeopardize his whole team or whatever. But one that I've been told that isn't the smartest thing he's ever done was going up against the higher power organizations. So from my belief, there's like celestials or like world creators in the world of One Piece that Luffy decides to go up against for like, I'm not really sure for the reason, but he goes up against these higher organizations, which in any situation isn't the best thing that you could do, isn't the smartest thing that you should ever do. And I'm guessing that he won because the show is still going on or whatever, but just because he won doesn't make it any less dumb. Lastly is Luffy's logic and thought process or whatever. And from my understanding is that he has a very unpredictable fighting style, and that he can use the devil fruit in very creative ways. And just like every other shonen character, he has a very strong desire to protect his friends. Now, I will say that I've seen clips and scenes of Luffy being like a complete idiot, and it's I'm not going to deny it's hilarious, and I can understand where you guys draw the comparison between him and Goku, because I do get the similar vibes in their personality and the way that they act. They're both pretty dumb, and honestly, it's super hard making this decision out of all these four characters on who's really the dumbest of all of them. Not in only everyday life, but also on the battlefield. They all do some pretty dumb and creative things. Like it's like 1 second they're an idiot, and then they start fighting, and you're like, this motherfucker's a damn genius. But overall, I can already narrow out 2 of these 4 contestants, and that would be Natsu and Naruto. Naruto, like, as a kid, he was a pretty dumb kid, but like during the transition over to Shippuden in that 10-year, not even 10 years, like 6, I don't know how long it's been, but that time skip, he kind of matured a lot, and like he still has his moments of being a big idiot, but it's not as severe as it was when he was a kid, because, you know, character development and shit. As for Natsu kind of like, he just stayed the same ever since he was a kid. So like, I feel like his idiot levels just kind of stayed the same. It didn't go up or down. He's still like as big as an idiot as he was growing up. So it didn't really change throughout the show. Now that only really leaves Luffy and Goku. Now, as for Luffy, what I've been told is that there is a time skip in there, so it's only like a 2-year time skip, so I can't really speak on like how he was as a kid, because I mean, like 2 years isn't really that big of a distance and stuff, so I would assume that his idiotic ways are still there, and they're pretty much still the same as from when they were those 2 years ago. So like, he really doesn't go up or down, but his idiot levels were pretty high to begin with, so it's kind of like it still kind of, you know, is still relevant. Goku, on the other hand, is a big different story. Now, I know this might sound like kind of biased, because I mean, like, I have Goku as my fucking profile picture and shit, but like, to be honest, it's really hard to make this decision, like, because Goku as a kid, his idiot levels were like fucking through the roof, because he's literally an alien, so it's like he was only taught what he was taught as a young kid. But like, as he grew up, he kind of sort of matured, but he kind of just learned common sense. He kind of just learned common sense. And so like, he kind of knows most of the things, but he's still an idiot when it comes to like the serious side of things. But like, Goku is still like, at core, he's still that same idiot as he was when he grew up, but it kind of did slow down a little bit. But his idiot years when he was a kid are so high that it still brings him to the front over Natsu and Naruto. Alright, to wrap up this video, the dumbest of all shonen title has to go to Goku, in my opinion. And I choose Goku for the winner because his dumbest moments are the most hardest to relate to. Like, you can't, they're just so out there, they're so out of the ballpark that they just don't make sense. Like, even since back when he was a little kid, the thing that really drives me to make this decision is that Goku never knew the difference between a female and a male. Like, that whole thing just kind of, that was the little tip right there that made me like, Goku had to win this. Like, there's no way you can't. There's no way. There's just no way. Akira made Goku to be the dumbest ever since he was born. The kid literally didn't know what a female looked like, never seen one, but like, even after he's seen Bulma and seen other females, he still had to touch them. He still had to violate other girls just to see the difference between if they were a male or female. Like, that blows my head. Like, I don't think it could get any more stupid than that. Like, is there, if Luffy has done anything to top that, somebody put it in the comments down below, because I just don't see it. That right there is the reason why Goku is like one of the biggest idiots there is. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this long ass video and me rant about the dumbest of all of shonen. Obviously this is just my opinion, so I want you guys to comment down below, who do you guys think is the dumbest of all of shonen? I love to read everybody's arguments and their debates and all that stuff, so just go down there and have fun with it. Make sure to like the video if you actually really paid attention and actually enjoyed it and everything. And don't forget to subscribe, because I'm going to be making more videos really soon. And I'll see you guys in the next one.